What it be, y'all? Bread Tuck Gang forever. Bread Tuck Rob. Hashtag 11 million after taxes. I just read chapter 12 of the book Black American Money, and this was a good chapter. This chapter is entitled, let me find my chapter so I can say it correctly, Teaching Ownership to Our Children. Now, I was reading this chapter, and Dr. Boyce talks about ownership. We want to own. A lot of people have this misconception when they talk about wealth. A lot of people think, or a lot of black people think, that wealth is you getting a nice big check from somebody that you work for. When Dr. Boyce is like, nah, wealth is something that you build, something that you built, and over generations of time, you've created for yourself. You've created your own fountain, or you have your own fountain, because maybe you didn't create it. Maybe your dad left it to you. You have your own fountain. Okay, it's not like going and getting a check from somebody. When we look at basketball players, and he even uses them as an example, they're getting a check from somebody. They're getting a check from the owners, who are the ones who are able. Think about it. If Daniel Gilbert is able to write LeBron James a check for like $30 million a season or whatever he's going to sign for, imagine what Daniel Gilbert is making if he could write that check. Look at Nike. If Nike is able to sign LeBron to a $1 billion contract, what is Nike making? And this is when Dr. Boyce is talking about people having a misconception when it comes to wealth. That's what he's talking about. Now, in this chapter, Dr. Boyce talks about how, because he's a radical black man, pro-black, a lot of universities he was working for, they began to be like, oh, you're too political for us to hire you. And Dr. Boyce is like, political, man? What are you talking about? I'm not running for office. I'm not trying to be no dean. I'm just trying to be, these are like my views. This isn't political. These are my views on life. And Dr. Boyce is like, when he sat back and thought about it, he's like, why do these white people who own these corporations feel like they're more qualified to teach my people, because he's trying to teach at black universities? Why do they think they're more qualified to teach my people, and I uplift them and I know them, I know what they do, I'm black? But these people who never experienced the black experience think that they're able to do this. Now, because they own those universities, they're able to make those decisions. And Dr. Boyce said before he started his own company, he's talked with this, or while he was starting his company somewhere, he talked with this rapper. He didn't say the name of the rapper, but this rapper was a conscious rapper. And at that time, the labels were only signing rappers who put poison in their community verbally. And he wasn't going that route. So he went without a deal. So what he did was he mastered the art of business. If we're speaking from a musical standpoint, this rapper that Dr. Boyce didn't get the name of, he learned how to produce. He learned how to distribute. He started a business. He started his own label. And along the way, he was bumping his head, but he was learning. But as he was learning, he began to build his audience. Now watch this. This rapper would probably only sell 10,000 copies. But the money he was making from that 10,000 copies, because he owned it, was the equivalent to what a rapper would sell, a rapper signed to somebody would make if he sold 400,000 copies. Because when you're signed or whatever, you have to pay, it's a bunch of people who have to get paid before you get your money. But when you're doing your own thing, You know, you cutting out a bunch of middlemen. You could sell 10,000 copies at $10 each and still come out all right, you know? And then there were points in the chapter that Dr. Boyce highlighted. And he's talking about business, but he was coming from a music perspective. And he's like, these are the advantages. Number one, and he's talking about the anonymous rapper, he would never be released from his label. You're not going to fire yourself. So you ain't got to worry about a pink slip. You ain't got to worry about, oh, is somebody going to, fire me because I need my job. You mean you work for yourself, okay? Number two, and he goes into detail, but for the sake of time, I'm just keeping it moving. Number two, Mr. Anonymous could also make music that fit his taste without someone telling him what to release. You know, a lot of these labels, they want you to go with what's hot. They want you to sound like Future. They want you to speak garbage to your community. Because this guy had his own label, he was able to rap the way he wanted to. And he had his own fan base. He was able to feed that fan base. He was able to stay positive, stay conscious, and give people things that they could grow with. And in the business world, this is basically saying, you know, you could, if you have your own business, you can be yourself. You know, now, you know, Dr. Boyce made a great point. He looked at, okay, watch this. When the September 11 attacks happened in 2001, Dr. Boyce said that a day later, a lot of businesses shut down. They were like, for the next day, September 12th, they were like, we'll take this loss. We'll take tomorrow as a loss, but we have the power to choose what losses we'll take. You know, because this is an American, for the American people, we'll take this loss. Okay? And what Dr. Boyce said is, how many of these companies are willing to take losses for black people? You know, ain't no businesses getting shut down when we get murdered. People, these businesses won't even speak on it. They just keep it moving like we don't matter. Okay? But with this, what he's saying is, you're able to speak how you speak. If you own your own thing, you speak how you speak. And whoever don't support your message, you know, they don't have to support you. You know, you cater to the people who do support you. Okay? I'm already at 7 minutes, a little over 7 minutes. I'm going to keep it moving. Number three, Mr. Anonymous controlled the rate at which his music was being produced and promoted. That means he just put out what he want. He ain't have to compete with anybody, because you know, with these other labels, you got to sit back and watch, oh, wait, his album's coming out. This is why, you know, man, I got to wait for his whole rollout to happen. Then maybe I'll get a shot. Nah, man, on his own thing, so he could just jump out there and do what he felt like he needed to do. Get his money. It was all about what he was doing. Okay? Number four, Mr. Anonymous educated himself a great deal about business and industry. He made sure he got that thing down, so it was, you know, he knew how to handle himself out there. He was able to run his thing and be competitive with major companies. Okay? Number five, Mr. Anonymous was not forced to take the first record deal that came his way. Now watch this. After he mastered the steps before him, the label saw what he was doing. They wanted to sign him. And he was like, you know what? I'm good, man. I'm able to do what I want to do. I'm able to make the type of money I want to make. I may not make the type of money I would make if I were with you, but I'm able to do my own thing. That's what you call liberation. You're liberated. You're free. You know, you can pirouette if you want to, man. You are free. Okay? And that's pretty much it. We're about to hit 10 minutes, man. That's about it. But this was a great chapter. Chapter 12, teaching ownership to your children. And just something real quick. When I was younger, my parents taught me, you know, you get a good job, work for 30 years and retire. This ain't that world anymore. So as black people, we have to figure things out. We have to create for ourselves, man. You know, but we'll talk more on that later. I'm going to let y'all go. Chapter 13 is entitled How Money Can Destroy Families. Woo, that's going to be a good one. But y'all know what it is. I'm gonna read that, get that with y'all later, but y'all know what it is, man. Bread Tuck ain't forever. Bread Tuck Rob, hashtag 11 million after taxes. Y'all mucho, take it easy.